So, last time I talked to you about how to learn Japanese, and today I'd like to continue with the how-tos. So I thought today I'd like to talk about how to actually get to Japan and maybe do something similar to what I did. So I will of course focus on high school exchange, but I will also include some different things, like doing a semester abroad in uni, language courses, private homestays, and a super secret opportunity to visit a Japanese high school if you're already super old. So let's start with high school exchange. If your school offers exchange to Japan, I mean, you're lucky, that's great. Take that opportunity and go! Leave! Now! But if your school doesn't offer that, there's still plenty of private programs that can organize high school exchange for you, like YFU, DSRA, JLS, AFS, IST, CIEE, and Ayusa, which is the program I did my exchange with. Now there's like so many different options that you can choose from that I'll just link all of them in the description, like all that I found. There is probably a lot more. But I will only link like English-speaking country programs and German programs because I just can't research for every single country. So if your country has nothing in the list, you can always look if the program maybe also has a branch in your country, or just consult Google. Depending on the program, they might offer different things. So I think most of the times it's like 3 months, 5 months, or 10 months you can do your exchange. But there's also programs that only offer a school year, so only 10 months and nothing else. So just look around and see what program would fit you best, and yeah, they'll organize it for you. So usually they take care of the placement in a host family, the enrollment in Japanese high school, they assist you with all the visa documents, they provide insurance, and they book your flights and transportation to the host family. Also, a lot of programs offer orientation weekends, either in your home country or in Japan, to kind of prepare you for the experience, I guess. In my case, it was really stupid because I was the only person there who went on exchange to Japan. Everyone else was going somewhere else in the world, so it was kind of not very clever. Usually, I think the price for the flight is already included in what you pay the program. But high school exchange with a private company is like pretty expensive. So I think I paid around 8,000 euros for mine. Which was still one of the cheaper offers. It also depends on the length of your stay, of course, but I saw offers between 8,000 euros and 10,000 euros, I think. And for the American programs, it was around $10,000 to $12,000. I was only able to pay this because I had half a year after I graduated from high school where I basically did nothing. So I used that time to work almost full-time in order to get the money I needed for Japan, and I still only managed to get like half of it, and the rest was paid by my parents. But there are also a lot of scholarships that you can apply to. For me, I was kind of like a special case because usually there is requirements in order for you to be eligible to go on high school exchange with the program. And those requirements usually are that you're between 14 or 18 years old. It also really depends on the program, and that you're enrolled in high school, so you're still a high school student. And for me, I wasn't anymore, so it was really hard to find a program that would still take me. But I found one, luckily, and if you're in a similar case like me, I'd still suggest you to go apply like in your second year of high school or something, if you already know you want to do it, but you don't have the time to do it while you're still in high school. Because it's just better to apply in advance and like let them know, and then maybe you can arrange something. Then basically all of the programs require you to be like pretty good at English already, so they do take a look at your GPA as well. And some programs, but not all of them, require you to have some prior Japanese knowledge. Also, most programs don't take vegetarians or vegans because it would just be too difficult to find host families for them who would be willing to cook something special for them every single day. And apparently you shouldn't be in a relationship. Nah, I'm just kidding. But when I wanted to go to Japan, this happened. You're in a relationship, you better break up immediately because that's not gonna last anyway. Joke's on them though, because we're actually still together. For the application procedure, I can only talk about my own program, of course. I needed to do a very short online application where they basically just asked for my GPA and a few other things. And then when they saw that was okay, they sent me like this map with like a whole lot of questionnaires and so many documents. And that's where shit starts to get real. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that hard, it's just a lot of work. So you have several questionnaires. Your parents also need to fill in some of them. And then there's also a questionnaire which your physician needs to fill in. So make sure you have enough time to do some checkups maybe. The documents for me also included a Japanese test, which I'm pretty sure I totally failed. But they told me it would be fine. I could just do it like 2 months after I was already in Japan, but then they never sent it to me again. So it was kind of not a big deal. I also needed to get a recommendation letter from my high school class teacher and my Japanese teacher. Then when I had done all the paperwork, this person came to my house and we had a short interview, which was in English. So if you're German and you want to go on exchange to Japan, you need to know English. Then I also needed to write a letter to my host family, which was in Japanese, by the way, and include some pictures for them. So I think that was all. Then my application was finished and I got accepted, yeah. Now, to be honest, I wouldn't recommend my exchange program, especially because I had quite some troubles with them. But who knows, maybe I was just unlucky and I got the only person at their office that was super lazy or something. So if you've already finished high school and started studying at university, you could of course always do a semester abroad in Japan. Now, usually your university needs to have a partner university in Japan, so you can do that. So you just walk into the International Cooperation Office or whatever these things are called and talk to them and apply, I guess. But I did find some commercial programs that offer to organize that for you. I was really surprised because my university right now doesn't have a partner university in Japan, and I was searching desperately for a program that would allow me to still go to Japan for 1 semester. And I didn't find anything for ages until a friend of mine sent me a link and there it was! Now, of course, there are some differences between high school exchange and university exchange, because in high school, usually not of age, so you live with a host family. But when you're going abroad doing university, you're an adult and you can take care of yourself, or hopefully you can. So there's different options how you can live. Usually you can live with a host family. Some programs offer that and some universities. But you can also live in a dorm with other international or Japanese students, which I think would be pretty nice. And of course, you can also search for your own place, even though that would probably be very expensive. Now, when you're at the university, it also depends what you're doing. You could, of course, just attend the regular lectures together with the Japanese students, but they're usually all in Japanese. And university level Japanese is, I think, you would have to be pretty fluent in order to get anything they say in the class. So usually these programs are always accompanied with like a language course at the university that you do together with the other internationals there. And depending on the program or the university, they also sometimes offer additional Japanese culture classes for you.
Attention! It may not be possible to continue with your own studies during your stay in Japan. It is therefore strongly advised that you contact your study advisors first to discuss whether you're going to be delayed in your own studies. Thanks for your attention.
Now, I was talking about doing 1 semester or a year abroad in Japan now. There is, of course, also the option to just go study in Japan, just do your degree there. Now, I don't really know much about that, but I think if you want to do that, you will need to take the entrance exam just like every Japanese person has to. So you would need really good Japanese knowledge and also really good knowledge about like everything they're gonna ask in the test, because these tests are not easy. There could be other options as well, apart from taking the entrance test like everyone else, but I don't know about them, so if you know about them, let me know. So since it would always be nice to know Japanese when you live there, there's also the option of doing a language course in Japan, of course. So you go to Japan and you visit a Japanese class in a language school there. There's a ton of different options for this, so I just linked like a general website that compares different options to each other below, because it was just too much for my brain. The length of your stay also varies a lot with these language courses. There are some courses that you can do 1 week, or there's courses that you can do for a whole year, so you'll live there and study the language. And there are also summer courses that are like a mixture of vacation and Japanese learning, so you'll also go on trips and do some sightseeing and stuff. I'm actually planning to do a language course this summer, so let's see how that works out. With these courses, you can usually also decide between living with a host family, living in a dorm or a student house, or just living on your own. If they don't offer the host family option, but you really want to stay with a Japanese family, there's a lot of websites where you can actually organize homestay on your own, like homestay.com, homestayinjapan.com, homestayinjapan.com, what? Or couchsurfing even. Now, these things will of course cost you money. They won't do it for free because you're using their homes and they will cook you dinner and stuff, but it's still way cheaper than hotels. And also, it's just a great chance to get to know Japanese everyday life, even if you're only on vacation, or just get in touch with the locals. Now, the last thing I'm going to tell you about is the ALT program, or Assistant Language Teacher program. And this is great if you especially want to visit Japanese high school, but you're not a student anymore. Now, the assistant language teachers help teaching English in Japanese primary, junior high, and high schools. So you won't be a teacher on your own, but you will be the assistant of the actual English teacher of the class. And what you need to do varies a lot depending on the school and the teacher. So some teachers will let you do the whole lesson, some of them will only let you read new vocabulary. But I think it's still a great option if you especially want the Japanese school experience. There are different programs that organize the ALT stuff. There's the government one, which is the JET program, and there's also private companies. I'll only link the JET program because that's the only one I did some research about. And I'll also link you the Wikipedia page because it does a great comparison of the JET program and the private companies. There's differences between the JET program and the private ones. So they have different requirements. The payment is also different. For the JET program though, you don't need to have any teaching experience, and you don't necessarily need to know Japanese. You should be fluent in English though, that makes sense. But it does not mean that you have to be from an English-speaking country. Actually, I think almost everyone can apply to the program. I've heard though that it's really competitive. The applications usually take place in the Japanese embassy in your country, but I don't know what the process is exactly, so you will need to look that up on the JET website if you're interested. I actually had an ALT at my school as well, and it was great. I think she was the only foreigner for a mile, so we used to have tea together and go eat some cake and have little rants about living in Japan when times were hard, and I don't know, it was just really great to have her there. So I think I covered everything I wanted to talk about in this video. There are of course a lot more options to go live in Japan for a longer period of time. You can do internship, you can actually work there, there's work and travel, you can do au pair, you can do volunteering, basically anything. But it would have just been a bit too much for one video. If you still want to know about it, I can research it, just leave me a comment. And if you have any experience with the other things I talked about, or I said something wrong, maybe, just tell me please, I'd really like to know. Or maybe this video showed you an opportunity to go to Japan and now you really want to go, then I also want to know. Don't dare not to tell me.
Attention, you are now entering the territory of the end card. Click over here to watch more videos about Japan, or click over here to subscribe to this channel. This totally isn't self-advertisement at all, I assure you.